we want to come up with the formula that gives us the graph that's given to us down below. Now we are told that this is a square root function. So what I want to do is first identify this bottommost point here. Now normally that's at the origin with a traditional just square root of x function, but it looks like this one starts at 1, 2 as being that point. Okay, let's try to apply that with transformations and include the 1 and the 2 in the correct places. So with our square root, normally we're going to have x underneath there, but we moved this entire graph to the right 1. So I'm going to include a 1 under the square root with the x. Now move to the right 1, that means we have to subtract 1 as a transformation to accomplish this. If our goal was to move the entire graph to the left 1, we'd be adding 1 directly to x underneath that square root. The next thing is everything's been moved up 2 units. So we're going to add 2 to the entire function to create that upward movement of 2 units. If we had wanted to move everything down 2 units, you'd be subtracting 2 from the entire function instead of adding. The other thing that we want to be careful of in this case is we could have a stretch or a compression or maybe a vertical reflection going on. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to include an a out in front to accommodate for that. The next thing I want to do is pick out one additional point that's on our graph over on the left-hand side. We have a couple candidates here. I think 2, 3, or it looks like 5, 4 is also on here. We could use either of these options to get to the correct answer. I'm going to choose 2, 3. Now 2 is going to be an x value and 3 is going to be a y or f of x value. So I'm going to take these two numbers and I'm going to plug them into the formula we're creating over on the right-hand side. For f of x, I'm going to replace that with 3. And for our x under the radical there, I'm going to replace that with a 2. Okay, now we have an equation that only has one unknown, the a, everything else is constants. So let's go ahead and solve this down for a. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is underneath that radical, say 2 minus 1 makes 1. Next, the absolute value of 1 is 1. Sorry, the square root of 1 is also 1. So we have a times 1, which is a, plus 2 on the right-hand side, still have 3 on the left-hand side. To get a all by itself, we'll simply subtract the 2 and get a is supposed to be 1. Well, if we go back up to our original, replace that a back in with 1, it turns out being the same as the original on this one. Whether you put a 1 out in front or you don't, it really means the same thing. So that's going to be our final answer on this one, that function, when we graph it, would give us the graph that was initially given to us. All right, hope this helps out. Good luck on coming up with transformations to help you get the function that gives you these graphs. Good luck.